while ripping out the very roots of indigenous Syrian Christian existence. On the ground, Assyrians are not equals. We are threatened into silence or risk disappearance and death. Our schools were shut down for refusing to adopt a politicized curriculum that glorifies the PKK, rewrites Assyrian history, and turns education into an instrument of indoctrination. 15% of Assyrian lands in the AENES-controlled areas have been confiscated. Over 1,400 homes and farms remain illegally occupied in the Khabra River Valley. The SDF digs trenches on our churches and cemeteries, militarizing our sacred Christian spaces to provoke brutal, relentless Turkish retaliation. We don't want war where we worship. We don't want to be pawns in someone else's war. We don't want our churches turned into battlegrounds to manufacture illusions that one regime protects us while another attacks us, manipulating our suffering for Western backing at the expense of our existence. We don't want to balkanize Syria, but we want a foundation for sustainability where Assyrians can manage local governance, education, security, and cultural preservation without fear of interference or demographic manipulation. International aid, oversight, and recognition must support this initiative, not as a favor, but as an overdue corrective to decades of disenfranchisement. There is legal precedent for this. Under the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples have the right to self-determination. We do not ask to be rescued, we just want to be recognized. We want our indigenous rights. We want human rights. We cannot have meaningful conversations about protecting Christians if we are not listening to genuine Christian voices, those who are not speaking under the very real threat of death in front of the very regimes persecuting us. If we remain silent now, this pattern of murder and injustice will continue until the very last Assyrian in Syria is dead or gone, and every road of our homeland is once more fractured and regimes continue to pave over our freshly dead, bloody bodies. A community who still speaks the language of Jesus and whose evangelistic force spread Christianity from India to China will be a footnote in history. If we care about protecting Christians, we must stop applauding the hands that strangle us, stop funding the systems that erase us, and start standing with the people who have historically fought for all marginalized groups and now have been abandoned to fight alone just to stay alive while the world turns away from us and tokenizes our suffering to advance their corrupted agendas.
What do Syrian Christians expect from the new government? What changes would they like to see to ensure their rights and security? Bassem Ishak, a member of the Syrian Democratic Council, emphasizes that for Syria to genuinely transition to a pluralistic future, the rights and dignity of religious minorities must be protected.
There remains a vacuum in clear legal protection for religious minorities. Without a political framework such as a Bill of Rights and without a strong independent judiciary, the rule of law and the protection of Christian property rights and business, Syrian Christians risk soft ethnic cleansing and eventual uprooting. Syrian Christians are not passive victims. They are adapting.